Hi everyone. Today I am going to discuss overriding use cases and what is a overriding. In the previous session, I discussed about completely about what is overloading and what is polymorphism and what is method overloading, what is the condition, and then we gone through about 3 to 4 small examples so that you can easily explain in the interview room. Even in the overriding also multiple use cases we have. Okay, but same class I will teach you one example. In the same example, I will be showing you the scenarios also. Okay, now have a look here. Now let me start some couple of theory points, then we can go for the programming. Okay, now first point we can say method overriding. We can say as a method overriding is also known as runtime polymorphism or dynamic binding. We can say as a dynamic binding also we can call. This is nothing but a runtime polymorphism. Okay, now why it is a runtime means at the whenever you are executing the Java program, it will be decide which method I want to execute. So that's why it is a runtime polymorphism we can say. Now here, what is the condition? Okay, now have a look here. Here method name and arguments, or we can say as a couple of people there is a arguments are nothing but parameters. Okay, parameters should be same where in superclass and subclass. Now if you have a concept of superclass and subclass means, okay, here to implement overriding, we must require what we need: inheritance. Without inheritance you cannot perform method overriding. So here, see here, method name and arguments should be same in the superclass and the subclass. This is one condition here. This is the condition. Now I have another very important point. When you say, a couple of people are asking, if you say method name and argument should be same, then what about return type? Okay, in Java 1.5, even return type has a special use case we have also. Okay, now first, before going to discuss, now see here, still now when you define a superclass and subclass, we have some couple of points here. If you're able to see, in overloading we discussed about private methods, final methods, static methods, or can be overloaded, right? In the same here, okay, here we can't override in Java, we can't override in subclass. When you define private methods or final methods, we cannot override. Okay, in the subclass you should not do also here, but in the overloading we can overload, but here we can't override private methods. Even I will be showing you an example for this one. And number 5, there is a very important point, guys. Okay, we can't reduce the scope of method while defining access modifiers in superclass and subclass. That is the meaning of, okay, what is the meaning? Whenever you are defining a method, right, how you will define a method? Public void m1. This is the way of defining a method, right? Whenever you are defining in this structure in superclass and subclass, this scope we cannot reduce. Okay, I will be show you the rules also. Just you need to remember those points. You can able to clear any type of interview question in method overriding, except exception handling. I will take another example later on time, even exception handling with overriding also. Okay, now have a look here. We'll start a small example here so that you will get a better understanding about method overriding in Java. Okay, now have a look here. Now already we created, so what I can do, let me create another package dot overriding. Just I'm creating a different package. See here, I'm taking a small example. Okay, now what I can take, let me take as a overriding example. Just I'm taking overriding example. Here you need a main method is required. Just a blind point, you can write it. Okay. Now see, to implement a superclass and subclass, I am taking small use case. Just have a see guy class. I am taking mobile phone. I am taking one mobile phone. I have one method public void price. I have one method is available, guys. Now I'm printing some system.out.println. Here what I'm doing, default smartphone price is some 7,999. Just I want to display this message. Now default mobile price is 7,999. Now assume that I have a different mobile phone. Suppose assume that iPhone extends mobile phone. See here how I am doing overriding here. Now overriding, what is the definition? Again, please read. Method name, argument or parameter should be same. Superclass and subclass. This is nothing but a superclass. Now in the this is called a subclass of mobile phone. This is subclass. Now as it is a copy and just paste it. Now here this is called default implementation. Now I want to change my logic. Now my iPhone I want to keep as a 1,07,999. This is my price. Maybe another guy will come, he can keep MI phone as a 10,000. Whoever they want, they can override your method also. Here very important point. Here if you use as a price one, here assume that, see guys, please focus on here. Here method name is price. This is called price one. But here your program is not giving any compilation error. Why? Because it will treat this is a one method, this will treat as a another method. This is not a override functionality. But if you define at the rate override annotation, then you will get a compilation error. See here, now it is saying that iPhone must override or implement super type method. This is the meaning. Just you can remove here price one. This is the one you can apply override annotation also here. Now let me make it here. Override, okay, in subclass. Now you can you get a better idea why we need a override annotation. Now see here. Now let me create a object. Okay, let me execute how to create an object. Now either you can create directly with the subclass or you can create with the mobile phone. See, mobile phone obj equals to new iPhone. This is the way real time whenever you are creating an object, this is the loosely coupling, loose coupled. This is the way you need to write by using the obj dot price. That's it. Your job is completed. Suppose you didn't use this part, assume that. Now, if you run this application, see here, what is the output? Default smartphone price. Already he given some price, but I don't want to use. Then I can override here. See here, run as Java application. See my smartphone price. Maybe here I can say as a iPhone. Okay, iPhone price is, this is the one. Just I want to display. Just you can run this application. See, iPhone price is displaying. Now hope everyone is clear about the second point. Third point, anyway, we return the inheritance. Now by mistake, see here, by mistake, if you remove private instead of public. Now see here, everywhere it is throwing. See, please read carefully, guys. Price of the iPhone must override or implement. Same you can perform if you if you remove the override keyword. See, no issues. Then but here, see here, the method price from the mobile phone is not visible. If you define as a private, you cannot access from outside the class. That is the first difference. Now if you make as a static, okay, if you make it as a static, see here, remove static modifier. That means static methods also you cannot write, and final. See here, cannot override final method. So for these private methods, final methods, and static methods, we cannot override in the subclass. This is the one you need to remember, this particular definition. Now we cannot reduce the scope. What are the scopes? We cannot reduce means we can increase also. Now see here, I'm giving a small table here. It is a superclass and it is a subclass. Just remember these points. Assume that you define as the default. Now here you can define public, protected, you can use. That means you are increasing the modifier. We can say that we are increasing the what scope we are increasing here. Now suppose assume that it is a public, then only allow here only the public keyword. Now assume that you are using the protected. Here only it will be defined public and as well as a protected. This is the priority, guys. Now default means nothing. Here you can use public, then we can use as a private, then we can use as a protected. These are the modifiers are available. I mean, access specifiers are modifiers, we can say. Now this is the diagram. Just have a look at the first scenario. Here I am removing public here. See, there is no issue. See, whole program will be run normally. Now here instead of public, I will make as a protected. See, let me run. Now even you can remove the protected also. See, you can 3 ways you can perform. This is about the default. Here you can perform as a default also. Okay, next, if it is a public, see, if you make the public in the subclass, see, it is throwing, so it will be allowed only for the public only. Suppose if you use the protected, see, public, it will be work. If you use the protected, it will be work. If you remove protected, see, again you will get scope we cannot reduce. So apart from these 3 scenarios, if you ask any question blindly, you can say as a compilation error. So this is the we cannot reduce the scope of a method. So this is the concept of the polymorphism, guys. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel and we'll catch up in the next session. Thank you.